Welcome to the Kingsford Flivver Flash. I'm Coach Van Dusen. This is Season 20, Episode 26, a Week 6 preview and a playoff standing preview. All right, so thank you for coming back to the Kingsford Flivver Flash. If you're watching on YouTube, we ask that you please hit subscribe and ring that notification bell. You can also share with your friends so nobody misses out whenever an episode of the Kingsford Flivver Flash drops. If you are listening on your podcatcher of choice, we also ask that you subscribe and share with your friends so everybody can be more informed of the great things happening around Kingsford Flivver football. So we are going to get right into it, and I'm going to share my screen for those of you watching on YouTube, and we are going to get right into last week. Now, this last week, all three programs played Marquette. Now, the freshmen had played Marquette in what would be week 1 and beat the Redmen 22-20 up in Marquette. A little bit different story when Marquette came down here. It was an absolute defensive battle. Marquette scored just before halftime, making the score 6-0, and that score would remain unchanged through the third quarter and the fourth quarter until there was 41 seconds left on the clock when Marquette punched in another touchdown. Both two-point conversions failed, so the final for the freshmen hosting Marquette was 12-0. Now, the JVs traveled to Marquette on Thursday and played in a monsoon. And the game was pretty close up until halftime. And then the Flivvers were able to pull away and come out of Marquette soaked with a 35-7 win. Now, the Varsity Redmen came to Kingsford on Friday night, and another defensive battle on both sides of the ball. It looked a lot like the freshman game. Both sides just slugging it back and forth. Three and out, 5 and out, lots of punts, lots of special teams, and Marquette scored a touchdown just before halftime, making the score 7-0, and that score would remain unchanged until about 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter when Marquette was able to kick a 26-yard field goal, making the score 10-0, and that's how the game would end. So a little bit of a rough week 6 for the Flivvers. Now, going into week 7, the freshmen are headed to Bark River to play their JV team on Thursday with a 5 o'clock kickoff. The JV on the same night on Thursday will be headed to Gladstone, and they're going to take on the Braves, and that kickoff will be at 6 o'clock. And then on Friday, the varsity Gladstone Braves will come to Kingsford for a 6 o'clock kickoff against the Flivvers. Now, just going into the playoff picture, there's a great website called snooze2u.com, and they do a really amazing job of mapping out all of the different scenarios with playoff teams, and they have already started. And with 2020, everybody is making the playoffs, so they have a lot more work to do. We're just going to go through some of the teams that the Flivvers play and then some teams of local interest just here in the UP. So we're going to start off with Division 3, where we have Marquette sitting at 2-1. 32 playoff points, and this is going to be Division 3, Region 1, District 1, for those of you listening and you can't see it. But if the playoffs were to start tomorrow, Marquette would host Petoskey as the number 4 seed. Okay, moving to Division 4, we have Escanaba sitting at 0-1. Now, Escanaba has not played a football game yet. They were scheduled to play the Flivvers back on September 25th, but they had to cancel that game due to illness, and they are currently sitting at the 7 seed. So if the playoffs were to start tomorrow, they would head to Sault Ste. Marie. Now, we wish all the best to Escanaba, and I believe they can start practicing on the 8th. So we wish them the best of luck as they move forward with their season in Division 4. Moving to Division 5, you see the Kingsford Flivvers. Now, a couple other teams of note there. We have Hancock sitting at the 6th seed, Hancock only being an hour and a half away. But currently, if the playoffs were to start tomorrow, Kingsford would be traveling to Ogama Heights as the 5 seed, playing the 4 seed. Going to Division 6, we have 3 teams that the Flivvers are interested in. First, we have Gladstone, which comes to town this week, and Gladstone is sitting at 2-0. If the playoffs were to start tomorrow, they would actually have a bye, a first-round bye. Sitting at the 4 seed is Menominee at 2-1, and they would be hosting Houghton if the playoffs started tomorrow. And we also have Ishpeming Westwood, Bessemer. You see Negaunee there sitting at the 3 seed, and Negaunee would host Calumet. if the playoffs started tomorrow. So Division 6 is very UP heavy, and 3 opponents that the Flivers play. Going to Division 7, okay, you can see a couple UP teams here. We have Lance and we have Manistee. Lance is sitting at the 5 seed at 1 and 2, and Manistee at 1 and 2 is sitting at the number 6 seed. So Lance would have to travel to Barcelona, and Manistee would travel to Traverse City, St. Francis. Now we go to Division 8. In Division 8, we have a ton of UP teams here. We have Iron Mountain, or that team on the other side of Woodward, as I like to call them. They're sitting at 3-0 in the number 1 seed for Region 1, District 1 of Division 8. They would host St. Ignace, who's the 8 seed, at 0 and 3. We have Bark River Harris, Western County, Norway, and Gwyn will round out the UP teams coming out of Division 8. And let's give a shout out to our 8-man football teams, and you can see they're actually split into 2 divisions. So Region 1, District 1 for Division 1, we have Brimley, Stevenson, Indian River, Charleston, Pickford, Newberry, Munising, and Ontonagon. And then in Division 2, you have Powers North Central leading that division at 3-0. They would host Felch, North Dickinson. You also have Lakeland and Humble, Crystal Falls, Cedarville, Kearney, Nato, Rapid River, and Rudyard. So in 8-man football, we see a lot of those UP teams that we've seen in the past. So I'm going to get rid of this screen and show you Mapology, which is really a cool system. And we're just going to go to week 5. So if you look at here, it is snoozetoyou.com. If you go there, you will see they have all of these broken down. You can break it down by division, by week, by year, and then the part that I really like is the map. So you can see Kingsford is right here. They have to travel to Ogama Heights. If you want to know more about Ogama Heights, you simply click on them and you can see their schedule right there. The other neat part is you can, if you look at each region in each district, they all have a different color pin. So Region 1, District 1 has red pins. When we go down, we can see where all of those pins are. So we can see where every opponent that we would play in Division 5 is. So that's just a really neat system. Shout out to the snoozetoyou.com people who do all of this. They have a big job this year because everybody is making the playoffs. So that will do it for Season 20, Episode 26 of the Kingsford Flivver Flash, where we reviewed Week 6, we previewed Week 7, and we took a quick look at the playoff picture if it was to start tomorrow. Now with the 2020 season, who knows what might happen. So we are just thankful that we're able to get out there and play football and help these young men as they pursue their dream and their passion of being high school football players. So until next time, this is Coach Van Dusen. Invest in tomorrow by owning today.